time of year again already? Yup, seems like summer flashed by in the blink of an eye. Before you know it, we're gearing back up for the cold season again. As they say, winter is coming. But that's not all bad. There's a lot of nice holidays and observances coming up. We have Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween. But this year I want to make sure that one important guy's date doesn't get lost in all of the seasonal hustle and bustle. I'm talking, of course, about Gunpei Yokoi, who headed the R&D1 development team at Nintendo from 1970 to 1996. He was a man of many talents who passed away too soon in a fatal auto accident on October 4th, 1997. Throughout his years, he helped invent key technologies, developed and fostered Nintendo culture, and even had a hand in many of the video game franchises that we know and love today, like Mario, Metroid, and Donkey Kong, just to name a few. I figured we should commemorate his life by taking a look back at the very thing that launched him and Nintendo into the spotlight, the Game & Watch.
The Game & Watch was a handheld series of portable gaming devices produced by Nintendo from 1980 to 1991 and is widely considered to be their first major product line. It helped inspire the Game Boy, Gamecom, Game Gear, and many other systems. It had its fair share of original content, but also had a habit of importing familiar faces from established franchises, both Nintendo and not. The legend goes that Gunpei Yokoi saw a man on a train bored out of his mind playing with his LCD calculator, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Now I want to honor Mr. Yokoi as much as I can, so I installed a counter in the bottom left hand corner of the screen there, and however many curses I utter will be met with great punishment at the end of the episode, so I gotta make sure not to slip.
Another thing that's interesting to note is that before this, Nintendo had almost no experience making video games. The best they did was repurposing old bowling alleys for light gun arcades and a Pong console. Go back even further and they were experimenting with a taxi service and love hotels. Imagine flying into Tokyo and taking a Nintendo taxi out to go pick up a hooker. Talk about nerd boner. Anyway, enough stalling, let's get started.
I don't have all the games for the Game & Watch collection, but I do have at least one from most of the classes, with the exceptions being the gold and the crystal screens. Now there really weren't that many games made for the Game & Watch collection. I think there was 44, but the reason I don't own them all is because A, it gets really expensive, and B, some of the titles repeat across the different platforms.
Seriously, they made Popeye in the widescreen, tabletop, and the panorama. You think that's enough? How many different ways can I smash Bluto's face in on a game designed for a watch? Talk about ludicrous. That'd be like if Konami did that with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Jesus! Oh, I see what they did. They just took the games they made after the first one and appended worn-out sequel titles to them like that somehow makes them different. Well, 2 can play that game. I dubbed this Popeye 2, A Fistful of Spinach, and this one Popeye 3, Rise of Bluto. Now let's begin with the first series, the Silver G-Dubs. Yeah, I'm calling them G-Dubs. Game & Watch gets pretty tiring and repetitive to say. The very first one is called Ball or Toss Up, and that came out in 1980. This is a 2009 repro because the original is just a bit too pricey for my blood, and this is essentially the same thing. For the G-Dubs, Game A and Game B are usually the same game, but B is a sped up version of A. Some games are different though, like here for instance, in Game A you juggle 2 balls, and in Game B it becomes 3 balls. And that's all I can really say about it. I guess I could complain, but this was made for bored people on trains in 1980, not for some idiotic nostalgic game reviewer in 2015. Mr. Yokoi probably thought we'd be at war with our own creations by now. Next up is Flagman. Again, not much to it. Game A is a memory-based game like Simon says, and Game B is more of a reaction-based game. This is an important game to note though because it, along with the original Ball, are the only Game & Watches that weren't distributed in North America by Nintendo. Nintendo manufactured the game and then licensed it to Mego Corp, who was more known for their action figures at the time, to distribute it in North America. Unfortunately, while the game says Time Out on the front, there is no connection to the Time Out video game arcades in the 1980s. Still, it's neat history. Moving on, we have Oil Panic. This game is notable for a couple things. It was the first multi-screen made by Nintendo in 1981, and taking a look at it, doesn't it remind you of something? If you're thinking the DS, you're absolutely right. Over the years, Gunpei Yokoi developed a business strategy still in use today by Nintendo that's roughly translated as lateral thinking with withered technology. It was used to guide them through many decisions, the DS design being one example. A big part of the philosophy is to look backward for inspiration, so oftentimes Nintendo's future is hidden in its past, as strange and paradoxical as that may sound. I'm sure it probably makes sense to Sarah Connor though.
Get me the fuck out of this movie.
I would like to show you how it plays, but unfortunately it looks like my game died of dysentery. I bought this one on eBay and the guy said it had slight discoloration, but what in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Diarrhea is this? Should have called this one Shit Picnic. Ah, fuck, damn, asinine piece of trash. After Nintendo started seeing success with the Game & Watch, everybody started hopping on the bandwagon. Mattel produced their own line of portable games, there are Russian LCDs, and even Radio Shack came out with some. Here we've got Space Alien. Judging from the front it looks kinda cool, but flip over the box, and there's the actual game. Wait, what? Deliver the goods? What am I? An interstellar cocaine smuggler? That's a great theme for the kids. And a patent? Is it a joke? Did they really think they were going to make enough money off this piece of shit to justify filing a patent? We'll really have the market cornered, I tell you what. Well, I've been playing for 5 minutes now, and I can honestly say without a doubt this game holds the record for least amount of brain cells I've ever used playing a video game. Just go right, right, right. Fuck the asteroids, you're gonna hit them. They come from everywhere and nowhere to annihilate your anus hole. I've been mostly just trying to avoid this jackass. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Oh! Busted by space pigs. Thank God.
Let's take a look at one of the classic arcade games Nintendo ported over. Let's see here, we got, hey, Donkey Kong. Look familiar? Well, guess what? It looked familiar to no one in 1982. That's right, this is the first iteration of the modern day D-pad, developed by Gunpei Yokoi himself. It was so popular, Nintendo decided to incorporate it into its hugely successful Famicom series the next year in 1983. While other game companies have tried to design their own version of the D-pad, ultimately, it failed to live up to being as smooth as that classic NES controller. So what happened? Why did everybody decide to reinvent the wheel? Well, apparently you can't legally use the wheel if there's a patent on it. That's right, Nintendo patented the D-pad and gave the middle finger to the rest of the video game industry.
That's why this feels clunky, this looks like 4 shields, and this thing's a fucking shit biscuit. Although there are probably other contributing factors, but that's beyond the scope of this discussion.
This patent mess really started to get out of control in the 90s. In 1995, Namco filed a patent that prevented anyone else from having playable minigames while waiting for the main game's loading screen. And coming from my PlayStation 1 days, all I could say is, fuck you. In 1998, Sega filed a patent for direction display methods along driveways in video games, i.e. the floating green arrow that you see in Crazy Taxi, which is why Driver used this and why EA got sued for Simpsons Road Rage in 2001. I mean, damn, I could understand patenting a piece of hardware, but a fucking floating green arrow in a video game?
Let's pop her open and see what we got. Well, it's everything you'd expect a Donkey Kong game to be. Here you're Mr. Gamin' Mario, and Kong is upstairs throwing a bunch of barrels down at you. The objective? Pretty obvious. Avoid the barrels, flip the lever, and hop on the crane to rescue Princess Toadstool. Now while I said it was obvious, I didn't say anything about it being easy. I just can't seem to get the timing right.
Fuck.
Once you defeat Donkey Kong, you, guess what? Do it all over again. Hop over barrels, collect points, brag to your friends, call them assholes. Classic 80s game. Here we have one of the more bizarre entries in the Game & Watch series, the Super Color. It's long, thin, and awkward to play with, just like me.
It's not too small, it's too thin, okay?
This is Crab Grab. You play a frog trying to grab all the crabs. Why a frog? I don't know. Maybe it was too hard to animate an obese fisherman on a boat. In Game A, once you grab a crab, it comes back out to try and grab you. If you collect all the crabs before they have time to reset, then you've won that round. In Game B, the crabs come out at random, but the objective is the same, get all the crustaceans. You have 3 frogs to play with. Once they get pinched though, it's game over.
Next up is the tabletops. Nintendo only produced 4 of them for the Game & Watch series, which is a good thing because they suck and they're expensive. The 2 on the left work, the 2 on the right don't, which is kinda shitty, but that's what happens when you're fucking around with fossilized video game gallstones. Now, let's figure out which one to play here. Eeny, meeny, miny, fuck Mario Cement Factory, we're playing Popeye 3.
That's if it wants to work today. It's the same thing with my panorama. It only functions if the temperature is between 60 and 65 and there's a light breeze coming from the southeast. You're about to get a light breeze coming from my asshole. So Mario Cement Factory it is. That sounds familiar.
Another one bites the dust.
Okay, I'm pretty sure they probably didn't get Queen's permission to use that. Are they trying to say Freddie Mercury looks like Mario? Whatever. In this game, the goal is to get the cement from the top of the factory into the dump trucks on either side of the screen. You have to use the moving platforms to get down to the truck level and to go from one truck to the other. If you fall into this vague bottomless pit 3 times, game over. What a dangerous fucking factory. How do you recruit for that? Wanted. Team member willing to work in unstable areas with vast craters leading to certain doom. It's too bad there aren't any bosses in this game. They should have had you fight the smog monster. That would have been kick-ass. Oh man, what the hell's wrong with me? I need to quit cussing so damn much.
Time for another Nintendo classic, Zelda. This is the second to last game that was made for the Game & Watch series. The last one being Mario Juggles Cement, or some shit. Interestingly enough, this came out as late as August 26, 1989. By then, Game Boy was out, so who gives 2 shits about this thing? Why even release it? Did the video game developers figure it would be that good? How do you turn this into this? Let's find out.
Time to get our fingers dirty. So here you're fighting monsters in a dungeon. That's fine. That was probably about the best concept anyway. This is the Game & Watch after all. We've got skeleton guys on bottom, pig dudes up front, and Casper behind you trying to shoot arrows up your ass. There's an overview system detailing the different rooms in the dungeon, and you even have an inventory. If you're lucky, Pig Dude will drop either a map, holy water, or a tomahawk. The map does what you think, showing the remaining rooms and pinpointing the boss. The holy water replenishes all life when your hearts reach 0, and the tomahawk is only good for boss battles, but it does 3 times the amount of damage as your sword. You have to beat 8 bosses in this game to recover all the shards of the Triforce, which you need to rescue the princess. And with each boss, the enemies get harder. Come on, Zelda, you weak-ass bitch! Yeah, I know his name is Link. I just wanted to see how many people I could piss off there. The enemies don't change, they essentially just gain more hit points. And eventually you get to the final boss, Ganon. Just kidding, it's a dragon. This is one tough bastard though. The only thing I can say is I hope you got the tomahawk or the holy water coming into this, because you're not getting through on 3 hearts. Woo, man. Once you got the Triforce, you're reunited with Princess Zelda and everything is happy go fucking sissy la la. This is actually a very complex game for the Game & Watch. It's still fun just to pick up for an hour to mess around with. Try doing that with a Tiger game. I dare you.
That leaves us with one thing left to cover, the Versus system. These were the only true 2-player video games that were made for the Game & Watch. I would show you myself. Believe me, if I could grow another set of hands and another head, I would. But since I can't, I threw my best threads on and invited a special guest that I haven't seen in 20 years. Allow me to introduce you my dad, Fred Asswipe.
What up, little bird? I ain't seen you walk in 20 years since you left my flute pipe.
Let's get this fucking thing over with. Nintendo made 3 of these games in 1984. I have 2 of them, so let's start with boxing. There are 2 remotes on the inside, player 1 and player 2, and if you're lucky, you can put the cables through these holes on the side here, but I always have a hard time with it, like I'm trying to put my dick in a pencil sharpener. You have a life bar that once it goes down, you're knocked out. Same for your opponent. You both start off with 50 points. Once your points reach 0, your opponent wins, and it's game over.
You start to play it and well, it's boxing. A little violent for the Game & Watch collection, but nothing fascinating. God! Cut it out, asswipe!
Next up is Donkey Kong Hockey. Now I didn't know there were ice rinks in the jungle or that fat Italian plumbers played hockey, but since it's a kid's toy from 1984, I'll let it slide. So who is this on the right? I know that's Mario, but I don't know if Nintendo was 100% settled on that name at the time. So is he still Jumpman? But he's on the ice, so no. No. This name shift for Mario has been a source of confusion for a long damn time. Not even Nintendo knew what was going
They're the
on.
Mario brothers.
That's right.
So are their names Mario and Luigi Mario?
No, it's just Mario and Luigi. There are no last names.
Oh, really?
Name? Mario. Last name? Mario. It's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Don't tell me that's
Mike,
where they got
Mike,
that idea
Up these
from.
Marios around the side.
So would I be accurate in saying that hockey was probably not the best concept for a Donkey Kong game? This game sucks dong. Donkey dong.
And that's all I've got. To sum it up, the Game & Watch was an important stepping stone for portable gaming to become what it is today. It, along with the Famicom, helped to drag us out of the dark ages following the video game crash in 1983. While the games haven't held up too well, they still hold a special place in video game history.
This fucking sucks. I'm fucking out of here. Fuck this.
How the fuck did that go on my counter? Wait, shit. Fuck! Shit, bitch, ass, tits, fart, cunt, fuck!
Well, I'm a man of my word, so I decided to hire my local farmer, Jedediah, to commence with the punishment. Go ahead, Jedediah. Quit it, Jedediah! Man, it's gonna take forever. What the hell did I even hire this guy for?
Bear pump.